Good day to you all. I'm Isaac from Finland, and today's reading is from Luke chapter 21, verses 12 to 19. It goes something like this. But before all these things, they will lay their hands on you and will persecute you, turning you over to the synagogues and prisons, and bringing you before kings and governors for my name's sake. This will be a time and an opportunity for you to testify. So make up your minds not to prepare beforehand to defend yourselves, for I will give you words and wisdom which none of your opponents will be able to resist or refute. But you will be betrayed and handed over even by parents and brothers and relatives and friends, and they will put some of you to death, and you will be continually hated by everyone because of my name. But not a hair of your head will perish. By your endurance, you will gain your souls. So, I have to be honest. When people in the West complain they are suffering for Christ or are oppressed because of the Christian faith, I always struggle to not roll my eyes too visibly. Because, if we are honest, most of us in the West, especially, we have no clue about what real oppression is, what it actually feels like when you fear for your life because of your faith. There are no doubt people that are persecuted for their faith still today. But how many of us in the West would actually stand tall in that situation when the choice really is about between denying your Christian faith or you losing your life? I can claim I'd make the right choice in that situation, whatever it would be. But there's a comforting thought in that if you did deny Christ, you would be in good company, though, as Peter, Jesus' disciple, once did the same during Easter, facing the same situation. And he is remembered as the rock on which God built his church. So, the church started out as a persecuted movement. People were jailed and killed for believing, but still it grew. In that situation, all the nonsense falls away. Nobody cares when or how you got baptized or by whom, whether Jesus incarnates in all things or not, whether you voted for Trump or not. The only thing that matters is whether you trust God, if your eyes are on him, if you love him, if you love your brothers and sisters and even your enemy. The love is what drew people to the church. The love. Later on in history, the Roman Empire made the Christian faith not only legal, but even compulsory. The church became the Roman Catholic Church. Now, Catholic, the word, means universal, all-embracing, including all believers. And it did, to start with. But then you add Roman, and suddenly the church is not universal anymore. It is Roman. And when you start labeling things, I don't know, does God really need our labels? Does faith need them? But the church became Roman, and suddenly the oppressed turned into the oppressor. You had to be Christian. In that situation, faith very quickly loses all connection to God or the love it claims to have as its standard. It all becomes about power. Fast forwarding a bit in history, later on the church split into the Orthodox and the Roman Catholic. A bit further on, the church split again into the Protestants and the Protestants split into Pentecostals, Methodists, Anglicans, whatever. And we lost the universal thing in faith. We lost part of the story of our brothers and sisters in Christ. We got disconnected. Mostly, actually, I think, because we got entangled in theological trivialities, trying to understand and box in God, who really cannot be understood. He is greater than any of our wits and senses are. And in all these struggles, I imagine that all the different sides actually claim to be suffering for God, fighting for God, when in most cases, and that concerns me as much as anybody else, they were probably mostly just full of themselves, not full of God. And make no mistake, I'm not claiming to be any better than they were at those times. So, my point being is that suffering for Christ and His name is not really about being a dick on the internet and getting criticized for it. That just, you get out there, it happens. That's just part of the territory. Suffering for Christ is about pointing to a loving God, a God that puts humans before economics, that puts the person before the greater good of the day, whatever that is, that walks with those that everybody else shuns, the one that holds out a hand in the midst of the turmoil that the modern day society is, in the midst of all the divisiveness that we face today. My prayer is that God will lift my and your eyes to Him and keep us focused on Him and sharing His love. That is the core of it all. God bless you all.